Welcome to the House of Wellness, the show for those who don't mind a little wine with our wheatgrass. And speaking of whining, Crawford is here.
Hey! Hello, Mel.
Tonight's show is a ripper, so let's get started.
I need you to try to push the baby through the pelvis. Crawford.
8 minutes in the air fryer, gold.
Tiger nuts for you.
Wow, they must be very small tigers.
Do it really tight. Seafood, citrus, nuts and worming medication.
So much science on this show. It's like hard to keep up.
Okay.
Go. Last one. Oh my gosh.
Your heart health risk is actually slightly high.
Mine?
That's right.
Oh, my goodness.
Yay, and of course with us this week, Abbey, Holmes and Dr. Andrew Rochford.
It's great to be back.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, but I am a little bit disappointed, Mel,
Yeah,
because last time I was on the show, Crawford promised that he would wear a pregnant belly to really understand what I'm going through for the first time.
You're not wearing one?
Where is it?
What do you mean? Of course I did. In solidarity with you, of course.
Did you?
No, that's a Leamington. But, no, I wanted to feel what it's like to be pregnant. I want to be with you and understand what's going through your head and your body. And I wanted to feel what it's like to be a TV star, because that's what you are.
Oh, bless you.
See, that's very nice.
Flip you 50 later.
Love it. Let's take a look at how we went.
This is interesting.
Strapping it on.
That's a pregnant belly.
First and foremost...
Quite heavy.
Heavy, yes.
Yeah. You grew
Extremely
very
heavy.
fast.
You did.
Well, I haven't grown
The
at all.
first time
What's
you've been in the kitchen there?
That's
the
it. Getting in the car's really tough. Going up the stairs.
Were you puffed?
Very puffed.
Yes. And that's the hardest for me, is putting on the bloody shoes.
Well, this one was the hardest, wiping my bum. So I think I've come up with an idea for all pregnant women, is maybe just a long hose and you can give it a wash, your backside.
That's kind of the least of your worries at that point in time.
A long hose.
And
Yeah,
males can use it as well, you know, because we're not very good in the
Wait
toilet.
until your nipples start doing weird things.
Sorry?
And then,
You know, things hurt that you don't expect to hurt.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think at certain points, Crawford, we need to stay out of conversations. The second we started talking about sore nipples, I knew we were out of our
Well,
depth.
speaking about nipples, here is
here's the belly.
the baby belly with... there
you
we
know
go.
what it
That's what it
weighs?
looks like. I don't know, it's very heavy, actually.
I reckon...
So you wear that around and it's a great way to actually understand what women are going through.
There is no opportunity for us to ever experience what you guys do.
No.
And I stand by the concept that it is incredible and something we will never truly understand. The whole idea of this is to try to get some kind of, I don't know, a sense of what goes on, the body changes, the carrying of the weight, everything
How
that's happening.
cumbersome it all is. You know, things just feel... I fell over a lot. I mean, I fall over a lot anyway, but I fell over a lot when I was
What do you
pregnant.
mean? Like, so you go to the supermarket and...
I just tripped
oh, there's
over
Mel
a lot.
falling
Yeah,
over
yeah,
again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I
now-
broke my arm. I fell over
You
once.
broke your
When you were
arm
pregnant?
Yeah, I'm just klutzy at the best of times, but pregnant, I felt really...
I want to get Bones Jovi. Where is
And
Bones?
while we
Here
find him,
go.
I just want to thank Mentone Educational and NASCO.
Yes.
Yeah, healthcare, because they loaned the belly.
So the idea of bringing Bones out is always to get to a point where we learn a little bit more. So lots of changes going on during pregnancy. Going to start with the head.
Oh, careful.
But baby brain's a real thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's one thing that I've
Yes.
really struggled with is baby brain. I mean, physically, before being pregnant, my body's a mess. I've had 4 ops on my right knee, chronic back, bad hamstrings, but my body's never felt better than when I've been pregnant. But with the baby brain stuff, that is a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've had baby brain my whole life.
There's a difference between baby brain and the brain of a baby. There's two different
right,
things.
that's very good.
So what ends up happening, obviously, and Abbey, you're a much better model than Crawford there, but the weight here at the front, and when you think about it, the centre of gravity changes. So do you feel like you're constantly sort of falling? And that was the tripping
Yes,
over bit.
there you go.
So all the weight sitting out here, a lot of pressure on the organs that normally live inside. They still live in there, but they're being pressed down. Do you find you get short of breath?
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
So there is a big muscle that sits underneath the it's called the diaphragm here. The baby has to find a space, so it pushes up again. So you can't actually expand your lungs as far. So all of a sudden you start to get short of breath. And then the big one that you were talking about to do with feeling like maybe some aches and pains and hamstrings and things feel better.
They feel better, yeah.
It's because the pelvis is getting ready to expand and stretch. So you are trying to loosen up. And if you think about it, and Crawford, come over. If you come round, Crawford, I always like to get you to help me. Come on round.
No, you can't take that off.
No,
You can never
take it
leave it on.
Come on.
What am I
Your
doing?
baby
Sorry,
pops
there
out.
it is. It's on.
Yeah.
So what you're
me to
going to
put
see
this
now
on?
is two men try to recreate birth. I need you to try to push the baby through the pelvis, Crawford.
So,
Try
hang
to-
on.
How do you
I
get
don't
that
want to watch this.
through? No, go down the bottom, Crawford. I need you down there at the bottom end.
What?
Breathe, Bones. Breathe.
Abby, if you want these guys there when the baby's coming, you just let me know and I'll make sure.
And then, oh, look, there's
then
little
it's
baby
beautiful.
Shane.
That wasn't a science lesson. I don't know what is.
I do though have
do
a
you know-
question.
Oh, yes.
If that's okay. Asking for a friend.
Oh.
Doc, many people prior to us revealing the gender to our baby had said that I was having a boy because I was carrying really low.
Yes.
Is there actually any science behind that?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely no science behind it.
I would
That
say
isn't-
yes, if you were asking me.
Yeah, that's only my humble opinion.
Some people, though, carry high and some
Yeah.
carry low. Is that just because where your organs go, or is that just a thing?
Yeah, so a lot of it's to do with the position of the baby, how much your abdominal muscles kind of play into it, and whether they, give up at a certain point and the baby gets to that position. But no, there is no evidence, nothing to back up the fact that if you're carrying high, it's a girl, and you're carrying low, it's a boy. There's other wives' tale. There's the great wedding ring one.
Yes,
where
you put on a bit of
I haven't
string
done that.
and you hold it over the tummy, and apparently if it goes one way it's a boy and the other way it's a girl, but I can't remember which one.
There is so much science on
Yeah.
this show. It's like hard to keep up.
It is.
I do want to ask you, though, Dr. Rochford, there's something I saw earlier. I want to talk to you about the postcode lottery. So basically where you live can determine how healthy you are.
Yep.
Is that legit?
There is a lot of truth to it. So this is a bit of that nature versus nurture thing. So obviously, where you were born, your genetics, everything plays a role in your longevity. But the difference between where you live and where you don't live can be somewhere between 10 to 15 years on your life.
Oh, that's a
so
lot.
it does impact. Now,
Are you talking about fresh air, green spaces, fresh water? I don't know. What are you talking about?
what people do that live longer isn't different because of where you live. That's not the only thing that plays into longevity.
There is an
I like fish whipping in
AIA
Canberra. It's good.
Health Vitality Report that it says Australia's healthiest local government areas are scattered right across the country. So places like Hunters Hill in New South Wales, I think Bundoora in Victoria, Noosa in Queensland,
Hang on.
Unley in South Australia,
Bundoora, Noosa. Yeah, okay,
and
right.
Cottesloe in WA.
Cottesloe.
Yeah. So
Right.
what do you reckon they all have in common?
All those places, they tend to tick all the boxes that you want. You want green spaces, you want the ability to be mobile, get access to really good whole foods, education. And you know what the big thing is? Social connection. And they think that social connection and community can improve or extend your life as much as giving up smoking. So what I just get involved in the community.
Still to come, we learn about dealing with allergies, and Gary Mehigan is here, and he's going to cook
Yes.
with his heart. He's here, Gary Mehigan is in the house.
Thanks for the fuss. I really appreciate that.
So nice, particularly to have a chef in the house.
Oh, there you go. I always think if you could walk out the door every morning and you got a round of applause, how good would you feel? in
don't.
life?
We're available. We can stand
Where
on
are
the
you outside my front door?
Now, Gary, obviously, you know, you go to a lot of restaurants and you test them out. So what is it like for you? You walk in, the chefs see you walk in, go, oh, my God, Gary's here. How do you deal with it all?
You know what? It's a very small industry in Australia. Everybody knows everybody. I'm sure it's the same in many industries. And so they're just, you know when a chef's in the house. Another chef
Yes.
knows when another chef's in the house. Actually, young chefs,
Puts
we always
pressure
look
on.
after. There's always a young person sitting on a table on their own,
Right.
and you go and find out if they're in the industry. And then, spoil them rotten. Give everything for free.
Really?
Speak to your sommelier.
Yes.
You know, if there's an open bottle that's been tasted, go and pour it. Yeah, it's lovely to see. And I've actually sat in a 3 Michelin star restaurant in France, and exactly that was happening. There was a young lad sitting on a table, bleary-eyed, obviously working very hard, and he was getting the full 5-star treatment with no bill at the end.
Is that because, there is a bit of a crucible of fire that you all go through? Because it's like that in medicine.
I was going to say, come on.
It is the same, because when you go into a practice and, there's a junior doctor or there's someone, because you kind of have this, there's a camaraderie that you can't share with anyone else.
Yeah. And I think it's very specific to your industry, very specific to ours. Maybe it's the same in sports.
Well,
Journalism
being
is the
sort
same.
of, you know, award-winning journalists and TV presenters, we have that same
Similar.
connection.
Yeah. Tell us about the Baker Heart and Diabetes Institute. About to turn 100, you're doing a lot of work with them.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to be involved in. There are some things that, you know, you really feel, you know, at one with, and this is a good one. So Baker Institute actually is the only institute or organisation that focuses entirely on heart health and diabetes particularly is on the rise. And heart health is, and we all know it, is one of the big challenges in this country, mostly based on lifestyle, but you can be the professional. I won't answer those questions.
No, what happened? Crawford
I've learned.
I can help.
But yeah, and the nice thing about Baker, and I didn't realise this until I started getting involved, is that they've been on the cusp of lots of really important moments in history where they've broken through and made change. It could be with diabetes, for example, identifying you know, specifics about that, or being at the cutting edge of heart health prior to the first heart transplant. So things like this, where we're like, wow, proud to be, I know, in a...
Look at you. You look like you know what you're doing.
You know, the funny thing is, too, is that when you go around the institute, because it's a research facility as well as interacting with patients that are suffering from diabetes and heart conditions, is that when you talk to somebody in a lab who's been working on a PhD for 4 years or has been in that specific research or doing that specific research for 10 years, working on the tiniest thing, and then having to explain to me, you know, I go, can you just give that in layman's terms? And they give it to you in layman's terms and you go, a little simpler, just for Shane and I.
Like
you know? But these things, what's fascinated me, for example, the other day when we were filming that little segment, is somebody that's so excited about working on this kind of minutiae of heart health that you wouldn't think's important, but if they break through, it'll change everything.
It's where it all starts.
And it's very special to you.
I developed AF during lockdown, so atrial fibrillation. I don't know if it was something that was with me for my life, but they said that it could have been a late onset, for example, so triggers like stress, caffeine, alcohol, could be anything, or
Sorry,
it could
what
be
is
just a
it, though?
change.
What is
so
AF?
when your heart does a little flutter, so you're not technically at risk, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, please.
Because if I do, then please revive me. You're not technically at risk of a heart attack with what I have, but it's more stroke risk. So what your heart's doing is having a little moment where, rather than a regular beat, they described it as a little bag of worms. There's a little area in your heart where the nerves are firing randomly, so you get this little flutter. I just felt low in energy. I was really struggling. I felt kind of pale and clammy. And I thought, you know what, this is not good. So I went and got checked out and they diagnosed me with AF. So I was put on a course of drugs. They made me feel terrible. I think there were beta blockers, there were blood thinners. And I said, there has to be an alternative. And I tapped into what was, you know, cutting edge, which is where they go in and they laser or...
Ablation.
Yeah.
It's not just heart, it's diabetes as well, isn't it?
I was going to say, so I don't have diabetes, but, you know, there's time.
It's on the rise, Shane, and I know you know. I don't like telling you things you already know, but 2 million Australians have got diabetes.
Oh, I had 3, but yeah, you're
No,
probably right.
we'll stick with 2 million.
And, you know, to put this in layman's terms, I mean, I've got a daughter who's a nurse at Monash, and I never realised how serious the consequences are for diabetes.
No, it is a very serious
It's a very serious condition.
Absolutely.
And you end up with compound issues that then really have serious consequences for people's health.
And because you're here, it'd be very disappointing if you didn't give us some kind of type of food. We've got the kitchen over there. There's some food.
We got very serious there.
Smell something
This happens
cooking
everywhere
up.
you go. Everyone's
Let's
like,
go to the restaurant. Over there.
Okay.
There we go. Oh, what are we going to be eating, Mel?
Okay.
This is good. Beautiful, Gary.
You know,
look
this
at
makes me laugh. This is not what you call a standard bench height.
Have you whipped something up? Something smells really
Shall
good
we?
here.
Yes.
This is I don't know, this is reminiscent of some little cooking show that I might have been on once.
Wow, yeah, right.
Let's have a look under the cloche.
I will give you a dish,
Oh,
eh?
there you go.
Oh, yum.
That's
So,
a lovely colour.
yeah, colours. You know,
Great.
colour is really important when you're eating for health. So I'm doing 12 recipes to start off with and promoting the hell out of them. And this is one. Nice and easy, approachable, healthy, skinless chicken and adding flavour. So I don't know if you can smell that. But I travel to India a lot. So there's a coriander chutney. I've got yoghurt. And you've got to have a good spread of vegetables with everything you eat. So
Could I ask you not to have the
Are you
raw
gonna
onion,
eat?
though? Because we're
I'm
sitting
going to have it
together.
all. I don't know what everyone else is
Well,
going
I
to have.
think what it is an appropriate,
Why don't we get
appropriate portion.
someone from the audience to come and have a bit of a taste? I
You can't be
believe
giving
Claire
this to
is
someone
with
in the
us.
audience.
You're diabetic?
Yes.
Come up and have
Come on.
a taste.
Here we go. Look at this, Gary.
So you
Yes.
have to think about food, don't you?
All the time.
All
Really?
the time.
Is it normally bland?
I think having a chronic disease, that's part of the problem, is feeling excluded from everybody else. So more inclusive foods, and this looks amazing.
Well, Gary's here to help.
You can just grab a skewer.
Little
You can
bit.
take a plate, or you could very delicately put a bit of
Absolutely.
this.
Oh, that looks really good. Thank you so much.
And people are scared
I'll
of
stick them in as well.
raw onion, but actually,
go.
it's very good
No,
for
we'll
you.
do it
Really?
together. You
Lots
can-
of texture.
Well,
Just
How
do
good is
that.
that?
Might be a
So
fruit.
simple
thank
marinade.
you.
Oh,
That is so
that's
tasty.
gorgeous.
tasty, tasty, tasty. So there's a few spices in there. Recipes on Baker Institute,
Oh, goodness
just so you
me.
know, so easy to get. And these, and who would have thought, professional
yum.
chef, but 8 minutes in the air fryer, gold. So no barbecue inside. So nice and easy.
Very
It's so
smart.
delicious. It's tender. Actually, do you know what? You're used to scoring people, so I might try and score you.
Right.
All
But
right.
make it mean something.
It was tender. It was moist. Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moist is, you got to be careful with moist though. Moist is
I'm just gonna
It's
pinch
colourful and it's healthy.
it's juicy.
What do you
It's
think?
very
Healthy.
I
juicy.
think it's
So out of a score of
than what he's-
38, that's the total. I don't know why I did the 38, but
Yep.
I've given you a 38.
There you go.
Thank you, Gary, very much. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Claire.
No, thank you.
And lots of information
Absolutely.
on the website, where to donate, how to get involved if you want to.
Great. All
Follow
the
the story.
details there
You're
on the
all right, mate.
screen.
Oh, it's so
Just too
delicious.
busy
Have another
eating.
one.
When we come back, we're getting to the bottom of our bio age. I'm a little nervous and putting our reflexes to the test.
G'day everyone, Sam Wood here. Another question has come through from you, our viewers. Thank you so much for sending these through. This week's question is aptly titled, Cardio for a Dodgy Heart, and it's from Teresa. Hi Sam, Teresa here. I have a history of heart disease in my family and have high blood pressure. So I'm a little nervous about doing too much cardio. What do you recommend for me to keep my fitness up without stressing my body too much? So it's a really good question. First of all, I should say, make sure you do consult with your doctor if you're starting anything new or really intense. Walking is your friend. It's so overlooked, underutilised, underestimated by so many. Getting your steps up, getting that heart pumping, those legs working with a brisk walk every day or even every second day is exactly where I'd start. And then you can build in some resistance training and some slightly more intense activities once you build a good cardiovascular base after you consult with your GP.
Don't you reckon these days it feels like more and more of us are suffering from food allergies, particularly children? So here to break it down and talk about the reality of it all, Professor Mimi Tang, head of the Allergy Immunology Research Group at Murdoch Children's Research Institute. Hi, that's a big title on a business card.
Now, Mimi, is it true that there's more food allergies? And, you know, why is that so?
Allergy rates have gone up like threefold over the last few decades. And there's no question both your genes and the environment make a difference, but it's more likely that the environment's playing a bigger role. The reason we know that is that the rates have gone up so quickly. Our genes just couldn't have changed along the same time frame. And one of the most important factors appears to be the microbial exposures, the bugs that we're exposed to in the environment, as well as through other people and through pets.
With allergies, are you generally born with them, or are they something that you can develop throughout time?
Great question. It's actually a little bit of both. So some babies can be born with a higher risk of developing allergies because they might have a family history of disease in their parents, for example. But in fact, we now know that it's the environment they're exposed to in those first early years that are critical. One of the best ways to reduce the likelihood of your baby developing a food allergy is actually to introduce the common allergy-causing foods in the first year of life. So ideally you want to be doing that around 4 to 6 months of age when the baby's developmentally ready to take some solids, and obviously use baby-safe forms, so not an actual peanut, but some sort of peanut paste, peanut butter. If, on the other hand, your child came first into contact with peanut through, say, inflamed skin, like eczema, instead of eating it, then the immune system will be recognising the food through this inflamed setting and can actually recognise it as dangerous.
Where are we seeing the most food allergies? What are the most common ones nowadays?
What we know is that more than 80% of allergies are caused by just 8 food groups: egg, milk, wheat, soy, fish, shellfish and nuts.
I could jump in and add to that if you like before you continue.
Yes.
We actually asked the audience if they had any, and I got seafood, citrus, nuts and worming medication.
Worming medication?
Worming medication.
Okay.
So just throw that into the mix.
That was from Shane.
Thank you.
And what about testing for allergies? How do you go about that?
The most common would be to do tests that are called skin prick tests or blood tests, looking for allergy antibodies that are directed specifically against the food. It's really important when you do these tests to interpret them together with the person's history, you know, what the reaction was like. And there are times where things aren't so clear, and then we will do something called a food challenge. This is sort of supervised by specialists in a medical setting because it can trigger a reaction.
If somebody is having a severe allergic reaction, like you're alluding to, what are some of the symptoms that we could see?
It really is referring to reactions that involve the breathing or the circulation. So that's called anaphylaxis. And the types of symptoms can include difficulty breathing, noisy breathing. If you drop your blood pressure really quickly, you can feel faint and even collapse. Now, in young children and babies, when the circulation is involved, it may not actually cause collapse. It often just shows up as the baby looking pale and going floppy.
If you see any of those symptoms in whether it's your child or your co-host, what do you do?
When you see these severe symptoms, the breathing and the circulation problems, really the first and only treatment you should be thinking about is to use adrenaline. And if you have one of these adrenaline injectors, EpiPen or Anapen available, you would use it, and you would also call the ambulance. It's important not to let them stand up and move around. You really want them to lay down and not move about, because standing up and moving around can make the stress on your circulation worse.
Having seen it in emergency, I can tell you right now, on the list of things that we don't like to hear is showing up to an emergency department is somebody in full-blown anaphylaxis.
Now, we've spoken about food that we can't eat. What can we eat? Because you've got a book with great recipes in there that can guide us and help us. There's the book there.
What we really wanted to achieve was to offer parents and families options for meals that are allergy safe and yet still enjoyable, so nobody feels like they're missing out. I hope it's helped lots of people.
And speaking of helping lots of people, tell us about the treatment that you've developed that's actually having incredible success, isn't it, particularly with children?
Yes, yes. It's an oral immunotherapy, which means taking little bits of the food, starting at tiny doses and then building it up to a bigger dose, like the equivalent of 8 peanuts, very quickly. And what this does is it redirects the immune response from that allergy that we were talking about towards a tolerance response. Somewhere between 1/2 and 3/4 of children who receive our novel treatment are able to enter this remission of peanut allergy. So if people want to learn a bit more about it, they can have a look on the website of Prototherapeutics just to learn more.
Great. Well, there's the details, so you can find out. That's wonderful. Thank you. Thanks very much. One of the things I know that you were mentioning too is a common allergen is milk. I know there's a lot of alternatives now that are available for people. A new bombshell has entered the villa, Madam Tiger Milk. It's made from the humble tiger nut, the brainchild of a Melbourne woman.
One of the biggest things about our tiger nut milk is that it's low FODMAP and it can be consumed on an IBS diet. So tiger nuts themselves are really high in fibre, so they're about 26% fibre. They're a good source of plant-based iron, vitamin C, vitamin E, magnesium and potassium. So they're quite a nutritious little root vegetable.
So for anybody that wants to avoid lactose, anyone that's, doesn't drink cow's milk but is looking for alternatives, what would you tell them about trying tiger nut milk?
I would say it's a really delicious alternative, and it also caters to quite a lot of different allergies. So it's gluten-free, nut-free, soy-free and dairy-free.
Isn't that good? So I some tiger nuts for you.
Wow, they must be very small tigers. Have a look at the size of those. They are tiny.
Yeah.
So I didn't realise you could have such small little tigers.
I was quite confused.
Yes.
I was trying to figure out who
Where
was
he
milking
going.
tigers.
Yeah, all right. Oh, that was a big ball.
If you ever wondered what Mel Doyle
Here
did
we
on
go.
her days off,
Guinea pig.
she was out hunting tigers.
Yes. Would you like to try some?
Okay.
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay. But Laura, who is the brains behind this, is fabulous. She's actually working with a community of women in Burkina Faso. There we are, in West Africa.
Oh, wow.
And the women are producing the tiger nuts, so that's where she's getting them from, which is wonderful. So helping kids here, helping people here, helping women in West Africa. Yeah, what do you think?
Not bad.
Great alternative, so I liked it.
You were very calming the way you were answering all those questions. It was very nice.
Thank you very much.
They were such great questions.
All series, we are giving one lucky viewer and a friend the chance to go cruising through the Norwegian fjords with business class flights, all thanks to TripADeal. It's worth $40K, and all you need to do is keep watching for a code word that will appear on the screen. You drank that very fast. Look, sometimes you're faced with a challenge so monumental that once you overcome it, your life is changed forever. But has life ever actually presented you with a fork in the road moment, you know, when you've really got to make a decision?
I'm a big one for sliding doors moments, and I think that every single person on the globe is faced with a decision every day, whether you're going left or right, and it's going to ultimately have an impact. But for me personally, it was moving to Darwin as a 20-year-old girl. I'd never lived out of home, I'd never stood on my own 2 feet, I'd never done the grocery shopping, and I made the decision to leave my little comfort zone and head north to a place I'd never been before, and I didn't even know anyone that lived in Darwin at that point in time.
Gutsy,
so,
yeah.
And that's the thing, if, you know, I didn't do that, I'd still be living in Adelaide doing God knows what. Whereas through moving to Darwin, it opened up so many opportunities for me in footy and media, of course, so, yeah.
I love the concept of having the guts to take that step. Like everybody says, fork in the road, there's the easy path and the hard path. I love to commit to the hard path. And I just think, you know, those are the ones where you find really great stuff.
100%. Test your mettle.
Yeah.
That way.
Well, let us introduce you to Ben Bravery. He faced the fight of his life. He absolutely lived up to his name, didn't he? And overcame a monumental challenge that changed the trajectory of his life forever.
My name's Ben Bravery and I'm in my final year as a junior doctor. I was living in China as a zoologist, so a researcher of animals, loving the adventure, and had just met the love of my life, a Canadian journalist.
We saw each other in the newsroom and I just thought, oh my God, he's so cute. And then I went back to my desk to message a friend, oh my God, I've just fallen in love.
She was 22, I was 28, and we were so in love. And then it all came crashing down. I was diagnosed with bowel cancer at the age of 28 with very, very poor chances of survival. You're on this conveyor belt of life, right? You're growing, you're expanding, you're building, you're falling in love. And all of that stopped. And the only job I had on my to-do list was to stay alive. So because of the complexity of the tumour, I needed all the treatments, really. So I started with chemotherapy and radiotherapy together.
The cancer kind of took over the entire relationship at that point. It was kind of just survival mode. It was no longer the lovely falling in love and getting to know each other.
I had to kind of sit down with her and give her the option of bailing. But despite me constantly saying to her, like, you can tap out if you need to and it will be okay, I will still love you, she decided to stay and she's been by my side ever since. So it was about 18 months altogether, sucked into the hospital machine and then spat out at the end. And it occurred during that time that I think I wanted to be a doctor, and I wanted to do it for 2 reasons. The first one was I was so grateful for my care. I was alive, I got gold standard evidence-based care. The second reason was a little trickier. There were aspects of the care where, you know, they'd forgot that there was a person in that hospital bed, not just a patient, not just a problem, but a person with much more going on than just the cancer. I wanted to go in at the doctor level because the place seemed to be built around them. I thought if I could learn what they learn and how they learn it and how they see this system, then that might be my best shot of changing it. So once I hit the hospital system as a junior doctor, I then had the kind of full experience. I had the cancer patient bit of me, I had the med student bit of me, now I was working as a junior doctor. I saw that doctors actually had more in common with patients than they realised. They were both kind of unhappy at times with the system, right? Doctors weren't always supported or supported to be the kinds of doctor they wanted to be. Patients weren't always validated or felt as safe as they could. And I think what I noticed was that the system around them had kind of lost its way. And it seemed to me that no one was really thriving in it.
He never forgets what it's like to be a patient because he still is a patient.
I still have colonoscopies. I still have blood tests to make sure that the tumour markers aren't there. I'm still a patient doctor. I will always be a patient doctor. Together, they're stronger.
It's been quite amazing to see him turn such a horrible situation into such an incredible legacy and sense of purpose.
Isn't he brilliant? Well, his name is apt, but really interesting.
I love the fact that people are courageous enough to go, no, I'm going to go this way. And, you know, now he's helping others and saving lives, and I think it's pretty special.
Yeah. It's an amazing story. And I hope more and more people kind of have the willingness and the courage to be able to do that thing.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, I like to prescribe to the idea that, you know, it's the next decision that's the most important. If you've got confidence that it's okay what you do now, you'll make the next decision will be the right decision. And I think he kind of just picked the path, and what a great outcome.
Well, Ben's book might help if you're grappling with that. This is Ben's extraordinary journey, The Patient Doctor. So it's available in all good bookstores.
Do yourself a favour.
Probably bad ones.
Maybe we've got a new doc. We can get rid of this one.
To bravery.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, just the name is fantastic. We'll keep you.
Want more House of Wellness? Listen around Australia every Sunday morning to Wellness Radio with Sarah and Jill. Age. It's the ticking clock that no makeup, exercise or full-blown facelifts can silence.
Oh, God. That's very dramatic. You can maybe not outrun your chronological age, but your bio age you can do something about. So that's the level at which the cells in our body are performing regardless of how long we've been on Earth.
That's right. With us now is Dr. Stephen Liu. He's the Chief Medical Officer at Everlab. Welcome, Stephen.
Nice to see you. So chronological age doesn't say how long you've been on the planet. Explain bio age.
Biological age is more of a representation of your function, your performance, wear and tear. So that could be things like metabolic health, could be things like physical performance as well. And that's actually something you can change. And also the rate of aging. So just because you have a particular age doesn't mean you might be aging at a different rate to someone who's perhaps less healthy. So that's what biological age is. It gives you that insight.
What are some of the main health factors, I guess, that really determine your bio age?
I think there are a lot of different factors that come in. So, for instance, at Everlab, we check whole blood biomarkers to try to estimate your cells, like cellular rate of aging. But also we check things like performance, body composition. When
we did all the tests, though, you didn't do anything like reflexes or even cognitive age?
Well, I think cognitive function is a very important part of health, but usually we would test that like a little bit less, usually later in life. What we want to do is really to give you the right information and data and give you this personalised health intelligence so that we can predict where you are in terms of your health, rate of ageing, biological age, so that we can find the specific things that you can change for you to change that trajectory and minimise disease.
What goes into, what are the tests specifically that go into calculating the biological age?
We will do blood tests. We will do body scans. So we do a body composition scan. We also check your bone density and bone age. And also we do functional testing. So that's things like your aerobic performance, your physical strength, your grip strength.
Why are you laughing, Mel?
Oh, because I know where I failed.
Now, the thing about this show, Melissa Doyle and myself, Shane Crawford, we put our bodies on the line We are human guinea pigs, and that's what we've done. Let's see how we went. Oh, no.
We're testing over 100 different blood tests.
No.
But no is the
I know
answer.
how to fix that. This way you do.
Really?
Push some push-ups. There's one there. See?
Yeah, perfect. Look.
See?
Oh, it worked.
Can you feel?
I can't look.
In the weekend just said, I'm just looking. Yeah, well done. So this is where I get to find out whether or not I'm a Greek god.
Yeah.
Or maybe a Greek potato.
The moment of truth. You'll just be lying down. It's going to look at your bone density, your body composition, so your total muscle mass, your visceral fat mass.
Once you find your balance, then you'll close your eyes, and then I'll start counting.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really hard with your eyes closed.
I lasted 2 seconds.
So did I.
Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Go, 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 go. And relax. Push, 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 push. And relax.
Do it really tight.
Okay. Mel, I'm your
Your biological age is plummeting.
What?
Woohoo! Real.
That's a silly test.
I'm terrified I'm going to be older than I am.
No, of course not.
Rip the Band-Aid off, tell me. Okay, real age first. We're going to share that with everybody.
What?
Is that coming up? 55.
Sorry.
And... Oh! There you go. You! I was really nervous I was going to be older.
That's really great. You're minus 8 years. Yeah. I wouldn't recommend starting to put it on your forms or anything, but absolutely tell your friends and family. Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. So, I mean, now we've got to Crawford. Now
Yeah.
it's your turn. And Stephen and I have had a chat. And we've decided it's probably better that it comes from a friend.
Yeah,
So,
oh, that's nice. I'm happy with that.
So we did the test, and obviously, as Stephen mentioned, run through a lot of different things. They did the body composition. They found some things they were surprised were bigger than expected. Found some things they were surprised were smaller
Right.
than expected.
Okay.
You're a plus 19 years, Crawford.
No way. I'm 50, so that makes me 69.
That was fun, though.
Should we have a look?
Take it away.
Yes,
Please.
please.
What have we got?
So we've got actual age of
50.6.
50.6 years.
Oh, my God.
So Shane,
I'm so old.
what do you reckon?
46.
I love it.
Yeah.
I thought I could do better than that.
Minus 4 years, but Mel does take the cake here.
Mel wins.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, I'm probably a little disappointed, actually. I'm very disappointed that you beat me.
Who knew?
I've got to stop
I did not
eating
expect that.
dessert. Those lamingtons are killing me.
Yeah, but they make you
too much
happy.
sugar.
They're for mental health.
Now, and what about my heart? I'm always concerned about my heart. It's a very soft heart. No, but I think everyone's always concerned, but I'm always concerned about my heart. Is it functioning right? Is there any blockages? So what did you find in that space?
Your heart health risk is actually slightly high.
Mine?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, my goodness, okay.
We've run some advanced biomarkers in your cholesterol panel. So this is the interesting thing. We see a lot of folks who exercise a lot. They look after themselves. Like you, you're quite fit, you're very strong. But despite that, your heart health risk is actually slightly high.
So what do I do? How can I be better or fix a problem area?
Yeah, so I think there are a few ways to go about this, and we should do all of them. Number one is that I think medically double-click into your risk a little bit more, perhaps doing a more in-depth study, do a scan. And then on the lifestyle front, what are the levers that you can pull to reduce that risk, right? What are the cholesterols that we can improve on? Increase the good cholesterol, decrease the riskier bad cholesterol. So I think there are a lot of things that can be done.
Knowledge is power. Hey?
It is, yeah, absolutely.
It's about understanding so that you can address it. And there's always something you can do proactively.
Great. It was really informative. I think it got us both thinking about a lot of areas. I would highly advise all of us to go and get things checked and have the numbers and the data. So thank you. I'm just so happy I'm young.
We should test our reflexes and see how we go.
All right.
You've got to keep them up
Sure.
as you get a little older.
All right, we might do that. Stick around. We'll put our reflexes to the test, and then it's time for Friday night takeaway. Thank you, Dr. Appreciate it. Love this. It's Friday night. It is time for my favourite time of the week, which is Friday night takeaway. And what we learned, I learned that where you live can have a really big impact on your health.
Yeah.
I learned that you should never leave me out of a food segment ever again. I missed out.
It was
on Gary's food.
delicious.
But no, the bio-age, I found that very interesting and what we can do to try and reduce that.
Yep.
And I've learnt that being pregnant, it's very hard to do your shoes up or your shoelaces, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
What about Rochford?
Oh, the skewers that Gary whipped up. How good is it?
I didn't want to tell him, but I didn't think he cooked them well.
I'm just relieved that my bio-age is not as disastrous as I thought it was going to be.
You guys mentioned that in your bio-age was around something that didn't get tested, reflexes. So we're going to test some reflexes now, just to put this to bed.
Yes.
Once and for all, obviously, Mel Doyle won because you are younger than Shane Crawford. But you're going to go first.
Okay.
We've got to make sure that we can...
Here we go.
Right. Okay.
One.
Go on.
Two. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Two.
Come on.
2 out of 3. No.
Oh, yes.
That's one.
Oh my gosh, go you! You were practicing. Have you been practicing?
You're right.
You okay?
It's all right.
I think we got him in the tiger nuts. Are you all right? Sorry about that.
No, you go on. All right, ready?
All right. Oh, God gave me 2 left hands.
It's okay.
All right, ready?
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. What was that? No way. You've just knocked them all off. You cheated.
It's a cognitive test. That was checking my brain power.
This is...
That was so fun. Thanks, guys. Thank you all for being a fabulous audience. Hey, you enjoy the rest of your night and please join us. Health and Wellness next Friday.